Listeners' discretion is advised. All statements by the crew are opinion. There are heavy adult themes. Listeners, be wary.
Captain, there's a baby on the deck!
Make that baby walk the plank. Welcome to Canon Misfire. I'm your Captain Sam.
First Mate Alyssa.
And today we're doing Miraculous Ladybug.
Yay!
Yeah, I know, it's a little weird. This is a kid's show, so I'm not sure what we're supposed to get out of it, but...
I mean, big fandom presence.
Yeah, I mean...
People watch it.
I'm gonna fess up, I watch all of the episodes.
Yeah, no shame. It's catchy. You get hooked on it.
Yeah, you definitely do. The shipping for this episode is going to be everyone's favorite, and of course, the classic OG, Marinette and Adrian.
Also, Ladybug and Cat Noir and all their little mix and match, same people, different everything.
We'll get to that, definitely. Yeah, I probably should put in who they are.
What do you mean?
Like who Adrian is and who Marinette is? Do you think that's important?
Yeah, I feel like we should do that.
Okay. So Marinette is a baker's daughter, essentially. She's like an average girl. And she gets the power of the miraculous of life, I guess is how they call it. Mm-hmm. Of luck. It's life and luck and so on and so forth. And that little miraculous thing, the Kwame, is Tiki. So That's basically, she's like the main character. The story's about her life.
Yeah, it's a magical girl meets superheroes kind of like genre.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Cat Noir, whose Kwame is Plague. He has the power of destruction. And
his name's Adrien.
Oh, yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, that's Adrien.
His dad is rich. Yeah, no, you're good. His dad is rich, and he lives in a mansion, and
his dad's also Hawkmoth, who is their main villain.
The show is like basic anime tropes, but done in the city of Paris in a like CG show. So that's pretty interesting in itself.
It's a very interesting blend of like anime and like Western animation.
Yeah, I like
tropes. It. Yeah, that's like I really like it.
And it's a kid show to boot.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's a little bit more mature because it is a foreigner show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously made for the French public, but it blew up everywhere in the world because it was just that stylized. It's very interesting. So, to start it off, let's go like straight into it. So, from season 1 to season 2, that's what we'll be covering. I know season 3 just came out, but because it's not over, we don't feel it's right to comment on it yet. So as of this point, it's 1 to 2, everything on Netflix. Not particularly in a certain order, because I know, like, the orders are a little different around the world, and, like, some episodes get cut around the world, and, like, on Netflix, they're not in the correct order ever. So, yeah. We'll just, like, say the name of the episode, or try our best to explain what that episode's about if we can't pronounce the title of the episode.
But we only, like, picked the ones that we felt really, like, showcased the ship the best.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So, let's start with the first one. Your favorite one.
Evil Illustrator?
Yes, that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the episode, Nathaniel gets akumatized, and Nathaniel thinks he has a little crush on Marinette. And, of course, everything kind of goes crazy, like always, and they have to do their regular superhero business to try to fix him. And, of course, but this one has a little bit of a different dynamic, and that's why I like it.
Okay, yeah. So if I remember correctly from that episode, Cat Noir has to help Marinette stop Nathaniel.
Right.
So she doesn't become Ladybug because she thinks being Ladybug won't be as effective as being Marinette.
Yeah, because Nathaniel has the crush on Marinette.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so from what you told me, the fandom kind of likes to do this what is it?
This square. It's like a love square with each of the different pairings within the same like couple. It's going to be really complicated. But that's just how this series is with romance.
Well, let's try to make it as simple as possible. So,
okay.
I'm going to call them quadrants, because I think that's going to be the easiest way for me to remember.
Makes sense.
So there's Marinette, then there's Adrien, then there's Ladybug, and then there's Cat Noir, if I'm correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then pairing off all of those as if they were different characters, even though they're the same characters, some just have crushes on the other, and all the secret identity bullshit.
So I guess the quadrants are like character dynamics with themselves.
Each one.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one focuses on Marinette and Cat Noir. And what I like about this, like, pairing within the, like, quadrants is this is the one where neither one thinks they have a crush on the other.
Okay.
And that's why I like it, because, like, you can kind of see them whenever they're at their most natural. They think that they're interacting with their friend Marinette and their friend Chat Noir.
Okay. Interesting. And then we'll continue, because we're not going to spend all day on one episode. We have so many episodes to get through. So the next one is Dark Cupid. And to me personally, well, let me tell you. Dark Cupid, in that episode, it is Valentine's Day. And their friend, what is his name? Kim gets akumatized in this one. He has a crush on Chloe. That obviously didn't go right.
It's Valentine's Day. It's
crazy. Hormones. And
lots of them.
So his power is to make people feel hatred instead of love on that when they get hit by, like, Cupid's arrow. That's why it's called Dark Cupid. Cat Noir gets hit, and Marinette has to save him or get him to stop being that way by kissing him. And that's, like, the only way to make people stop overreacting is to kiss them, because it's like true love's first kiss or some shit like that. And so I feel like this episode is fan service.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And it's also just, and it's another, like, take on it, but it really didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. So then the next episode after that, Annie Man. And it's when a zookeeper gets akumatized and he has the, like, powers to turn into any animal. And in this episode is one of those, like, trope things with, like, a love triangle, but it's between friendships and stuff like that. So Adrien's friend Nino has a crush on Marinette, and Marinette has a crush on Adrien, and Marinette's friend Alia is trying to help her confess her love, while Adrien's trying to help Nino confess his love.
Yeah.
It's so...
like, this whole series is like a shipper's nightmare and dream at the same time. Because there's so much.
And so basically what it comes down to is Nino and Alia end up in the same thing. Like, I guess it's enclosure together to protect them from the akumatized situation.
Yeah, Annie Man.
And they get really close and become their own couple. And this is...
honestly, like, if anything, this is a good canon couple.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that one later.
Yeah, but we're not talking about this one today. So then it continues that, like, neither of them had any development. But I like to just bring that up because it was interesting to see other characters' point of view. Because both Nino and Alia definitely know that they're best friends, have semi-crushes, semi-acknowledgements of each other. So it's just interesting to see that. It's like other people's point of view. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of stuff happens in the series that's like hints and nods. But then we get Volpina, which is the episode where Lila, a new student who's like, she's a massive liar, comes to the school and some shenanigans happen. And she has like a major crush on
Adrien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every person apparently does.
Yeah, basically.
And it was like the first time they brought in a protagonist, sort of like, you know, in the anime tropes where there's another girl that will take your man, essentially. That's who she was supposed to be. And I like to say was supposed to be because that's not how it continues onward.
Yeah.
And not to, like, bring it all over the place in season 1, but bottom line, season 1, nothing really gets established other than the fact that we understand that both Marinette and Adrian have crushes on certain people. Adrian's crush is 100% on Ladybug, and Marinette's crush is 100% on Adrien.
Yeah.
That's what we established in season 1.
Yeah, that's basically what we established. Nothing really goes farther, and like we agreed, the kiss was just fan service.
Yeah. And then in season 2, that's when stuff gets a little bit more interesting, but season 2 is also significantly kind of shorter than 1 because of the time restraints they had. So if we don't want to go through like the whole thing, but essentially in one of the episodes I like to bring up is Dark Owl. It's when their principal gets akumatized. He kind of makes up this like weird Joker type situation where they're stuck in a crate and they both have to like miraculous themselves so that he can get their miraculous. And they both decide to do it inside that situation, but they close their eyes. And I thought that was like a good level of trust almost between the two of them as like characters themselves. That they trust each other enough to not peek that they're going to do this situation even though they know it's against the rules. Yeah. So that's interesting. And then we get another character that shows up. It's when he shows up, I like how the series does it where they show up like the other character and it's not automatically like it's going to be an issue, but we get Luca.
Yeah.
And then in the same season, we get Kagami.
Yeah.
They have their own episodes where stuff happens and they're seen as more friends, and then it turns out that they're also seen as like potential love partners for both Marinette and or Adrien.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Frozer episode, that actually is something they actually touch upon.
They actually do a double date, which is very interesting, and seeing Adrian's crush on Kagami and how Marinette reacts to it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like, she brings in Luca, who, I mean, they don't really explicitly say it, but like, they got good chemistry too.
Yeah, like, it's obvious to show that there's chemistry between them. And I think I mostly appreciate Kagami the most in the season because she has explained what she wants and that she's willing to work at it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll touch on that later. And then we have Heroes Days and then Heroes Days 2. And at the end of 2, they actually have a kiss between Marinette and Adrian, but it's a friendship kiss as they do in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's basically like the major things that we're going to bring up and just where they came from origin-wise.
Yeah, and you know it's like going to be a shippy episode if there's like sparkles.
Yeah, essentially. Okay, so now let's talk about the ship itself. First, short response, do you think it works?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of leading on and a lot of, like, mixed bags and stuff, but as far as, like, a ship goes, like, this is why you watch the show, if anything, just because you want to track where the ship is going, in a lot of ways.
I agree. I think their pairing is what makes the show in general, and I know other stuff happens, but it adds that level of personality that you desire from something like this. Mm-hmm. And it being a trope in itself is enough for me to watch it. It brings back nostalgia, essentially.
Yeah, and it is a really fun show. I mean, like, I don't want to bash the show or anything, really, because it really is a cute show, but it's the ship that really makes it, and because it works, that's why I can still watch it.
So, here's the thing. With that saying that it works, that'd be a short episode, I do think there are situations that require a little bit more digging.
I agree. I think both characters need, and I think the show knows this too, they need to grow. Both characters need to grow in certain ways so they can actually be a healthy and good ship.
Yeah, because I feel like the end-all be-all of the show is to see these two characters get together. That, obviously, once that happens, we're down with no show. That's just the hard truth of romantic shows in general. So, I feel that the reason why these characters' day-to-day monster of the week situation that they're in is not developing as quickly as it could is because they're afraid of not having enough content later on or down the road. So that's why they introduced people like Kagami and like Luca to give Marinette and Adrian some options.
Mm-hmm.
And as we can tell that is how it goes with these romantic shoujo type situations, I think that Ladybug and Cat Noir does it a little bit differently. Like, the characters feel more personable. So even though Adrien had this crush on Kagami, or has a crush on Kagami, he still has a crush on Ladybug. And he acknowledges both of them as existing at the same time. Mm-hmm. Which I think is interesting in its own way, because we don't really see that in the shoujo type anime show.
I think that's like
before.
I think that's actually like a natural way that people like feel sometimes. Like sometimes that you do have two crushes at once and you don't know what to do. So I think that's very smart for the show to like kind of tackle those issues, especially for kids and stuff.
It also feels very wholesome because even though all these kids are having these like hormonal, like I like her, I don't like her, I'm in love with her, I'm not in love with her, it almost seems like it's the purest possible way for it to be, because there is, I don't know, maybe it's just like the French ideology of like romance being this other level, but they're just so into each other at such a young age. It's so strange, but yet it feels so natural.
Yeah.
Like if I was back in their age watching the show then, I would feel probably that's natural in the way it should be anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to think about. I think with Luca's character and Marinette, it seems more like an older brother situation, but it's like he actually is, definition-wise, the older brother of Julika that I don't know what he's thinking, and that makes him attractive. Like, that's probably where Marinette is in that situation, but she doesn't express that she likes anyone other than Adrien. Even as Ladybug, she doesn't even consider Cat Noir because she's in love with Adrien 100% full way.
Another reason why I like Kagami and Luca is because I feel like at least with them, they are brought into the show to kind of show like what Marinette and what Adrien kind of need. Like they obviously show that they have a type.
Yeah.
And it also, the type is very much the other person too. Like Luca is kind of like Adrien and like Marinette's like Kagami. But I think it also shows like how they can kind of grow a little bit so that they can like work together and be like a better ship together.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely how I see it. I think a good point to bring in is that the show is still young, so there's still time to see what will happen. But I think it's a very solid point that this is what's going to come down to. It's going to be the two of them. I just kind of hope it doesn't flake out, but that's a whole nother fear. It's not really have anything to do with the ship.
Yeah.
So about your quadrant thing.
Yeah.
In the direction I put before, I don't know how the quadrant's supposed to go, but if we want to start off with the direction I put before, Marinette to Adrien, that dynamic's kind of toxic.
I agree. I think that there's, like, first off, Adrien just sees Marinette as a friend, and Marinette, like, has a very unhealthy crush, like, and, like, people bring up stalker. I don't think it's, like, stalker.
It's very obsession.
It is, like, but, like, I think people take it a little too far, but, like, Marinette definitely does have to work on, like, not being, like, so involved and just kind of take a step back and just, like, chill a little bit.
I think she needs to see Adrien more as a friend and less as a potential love partner for her to be on the same level. Because when she mentions it in the show in season 2, that when she talks to Adrien and sees him as a friend, she doesn't stutter or have any issues at all. Because we've seen episode where she doesn't fall over herself when she's around Adrien.
I think her problem is that she really does see him on a pedestal. Ever since, like, the Origins episode, like, she, like, started out not liking him at all, but then in the Origins episode, he does something nice and she's like, oh, I need to change my opinion. He's actually a really good guy. But then I think she overdoes it and thinks he's, like, the best thing in the world, but, like, she just needs to take a step back, realize that he's human and he's like a good friend too. Like, he's not like this like perfect like
she's
model.
Gotta be less passionate.
Yeah.
I agree. So that's that dynamic. And then if we're doing Adrien to Ladybug.
Yeah, that one's...
I also feel is not very good either. One, they're both lying to each other.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who the other truly is. They know how the other reacts in the suit and as a business, like, what do you call it? Co-worker sense. But that was enough for Adrien to be in love with Ladybug. And it almost seems fickle because he doesn't know anything about her. I think he's in love more with her confidence and the allure of her. Like she's this mystery type of woman that can do no wrong and is all powerful and all this other stuff. And he's just like head over heels. And this is interesting because I think that makes him closer to Marinette in the situation or dynamic. Because, again, he can talk and he can do all this stuff, but he's acts a fool around her. Like, intentionally trying to be more suave than he is.
Yeah, he's pretending to be somebody that he's not.
Yeah. Well, maybe that is him. But maybe
that's a good point.
But I think the way they do it, like, because a lot of people in the fandom are like, this is like their true selves. Whenever they're behind the mask, it's their real face. I think it's more of like, they're the same person, and they have the potential to be both types. Like, Marinette has the potential to be confident, and Adrien has the potential to be forthcoming and suave. They just don't in their daily lives.
True.
So in this dynamic, I think he's like trying too hard to be around Ladybug and get her to notice him. And she's already turned him down twice by the point of this 3 times maybe? I think it was like 3 times.
There's several times where she's just like, my man, we gotta be cool.
She's like, I like someone else. And he constantly is like, I'm not gonna give up. And that might be cute and all, but I mean when it really comes down to it, he doesn't know her, and it's like a lot of effort on his part to be like this.
Yeah.
So then, you can.
Oh yeah. So then, like, the next dynamic is let's talk about just Ladybug and Cat Noir as superheroes together and their dynamics. That's how the love square kind of goes.
Okay.
So like this one, it's Ladybug and Cat Noir superheroes together, a team.
Okay.
And it's kind of exactly what you were saying with like Cat Noir's crush on Ladybug.
Yeah.
And then the fourth dynamic is Marinette and then Cat Noir.
Yeah.
Where neither one of them knows that they're talking to the love of their lives.
Yeah, essentially.
Kind of thing. Like, they're crushes. They don't know. Like, Marinette sees the coworker friend, and then Adrien sees his good friend Marinette. And I like this dynamic the best because they really don't know, and, like, this is where they're most natural with each other.
Yeah, it seems like the best qualities of each person is amplified in this moment, because in the moment, I don't think there's been that many where it's been Marinette and Cat Noir in this at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I know in 3 there's some stuff, but we're not talking about 3.
I'm so excited. I haven't seen it yet.
At this point, it's been like 1 or 2 encounters, and it's always been like Marinette's been putting on a front because she knows that everyone's obsessed with Cat Noir, so she has to be normal and say that, even though she truly knows how he's like. But I think she almost sees him as more entertaining because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Oh, okay. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst, but at the same time, I don't think there's any. I think it just breaks up the constant love situations that are going on with all these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cat Noir sees Marinette as just another girl he knows in real life, but can't be Adrien, has to be Cat Noir. And Marinette sees Cat Noir as like, oh, I'm just another rando person to him, and I know he's like, obsessed with Ladybug or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I like it, because, like, they both, like, put on their roles, but they're also, like, they're more, like, natural with each other.
They're more people. They see each other as people.
Like, exactly. Like, you see Marinette not freaking out over being with, like, Adrien, and you see, like, Cat Noir, like, not, like, freaking out by being with Ladybug.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Okay, so we've already broken down the dynamics and talked about certain parts in the show that qualifies their chipping. What would fix this problem? Because I know they can't fix it because of that's how shoujo shows go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how these shows go. But what would you say would be the best way to make this stop?
I think, honestly, they both need to, like, just grow up a little bit. Like, start realizing, like, looking past, like, the idealized version that they have of the other person. And that's why I think, like, if there was something, like, I think a good and honest conversation between friends, Marinette and Cat Noir, like, I know, like, I keep going to that dynamic, but that's the one where they are, like, the most with themselves. So, I mean, it could happen in any of them, but I think they just, like, as soon as we get the identity reveal, I feel like a lot's gonna happen. But I feel like that's where we're gonna finally see, like, if it's gonna sink or swim. And I feel like, knowing how shows go, it's probably gonna sink first and swim later.
Yeah, I can see that. Because a lot of people's fear is that once Adrien finds out who Marinette is, his feelings are going to disappear. Or once Marinette finds out who Adrien truly is, her feelings are going to disappear. And then, I don't know, maybe that's just, like, fandom fire bait. Like, maybe that's just bait for people that come up with, like, good ideas. But I feel like once they both find out who each other is, because of how wholesome the show feels, they're probably both just going to be like, oh, my love.
I kind of hope it doesn't, like, this might just be me, I hope it doesn't go like that, because I do think they have a lot to work out. So if it's automatically identities revealed, make out time, I wouldn't be satisfied.
I feel you there.
That's why I feel like the sync part, like, if they actually did, were like, oh, wait, you're this person, and then maybe it being, like, a little awkward for a little bit, and then being like, you know what, I think maybe we can work this out. I think I fell in love with Marinette, and I can fall in love with Cat Noir.
Yeah. I think 100% I would like someone else to find out before either of them find out. Only
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I only say that because the Kwamis know now. After the Dark Owl episode, Plag realizes that Marinette is Ladybug. And now his little smart aleck comments are all like, I already know who this girl is that you're obsessed with. So that's really cute. And Tiki's known from day one because she's not an idiot. She's like us. I don't know how they don't know.
The only person in the show that's not an idiot.
Yeah, it's Tiki. But yeah, there you go. And I think if other people start realizing, they'll do their best, as they already do as their friends, to get them together. Because it's like one of the like bigger things that everyone in the class knows that Marinette has a crush on Adrien. But Adrien doesn't. Because he's thick as fucking pig shit.
For real. But yeah, no, I agree. I think, honestly, Alia and Nino, like, deserve to know, too.
Yeah, if anybody, they should know the most.
Yeah.
Whew. This is a short one. Because, like, there's no reason to fix this because it is the way the show is.
And we're in the middle of it. And it's one of those things, it's like the whole thing is focused on love. So you know that by the end of it, there's going to be a good job.
Yeah. I almost wish that there would be a chance for maybe like an insight to just see what possibly could happen, maybe. And then maybe their like memory gets away, like washed or whatever.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be righteous.
So like it would be like we set the dial back to 0, but here's what it would be if you really wanted to know. But then I almost feel like the fandom would be upset because it's like it got ripped out from under them.
I mean, the ship is on, like, the whole show is constant fan service.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it all goes on. So I think it would be interesting if they did kind of were like, all right, this is what you get.
Good luck. Have a good day.
But I also know it's a fun, good-hearted, like, kid show. They're going to end up together by the end. I just hope that they don't do it in a rushed or insincere way.
So then we agree. At the end of season 3, we should probably do an episode update. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the season, we'll pick back up and be like, here's how it went and here's how we feel.
Yeah.
I think that would be the most appropriate.
Yeah, but so far, we're good.
Awesome. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe wherever you find this podcast. We're going to try our best to get it onto some other platforms, and stay tuned for that. Definitely follow our Twitter. That's the best way to see what we're up to. Maybe answer some polls. Maybe do some fun stuff. Maybe tell us what you want us to talk about. I know our knowledge might be limited, but we'll try our freaking best. Have a great day.
All right. Bye, folks.